Here's something nobody tells you about having multiple interests. It's not the variety that's killing your progress. It's the guilt. You wake up excited about learning Spanish. By noon, you're watching coding tutorials. Evening hits and suddenly you're researching how to start a dropshipping business. Then you lie in bed thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just pick something and stick with it? Meanwhile, your friend Sarah has been doing graphic design for 3 years. She's not more talented than you. She's probably not even more passionate. But she's making $60,000 a year while you're still figuring things out. The internet calls you a multi-potentialite, a renaissance soul, a scanner. They make it sound like a superpower. But most days it just feels like you're drowning in options while everyone else is building actual careers. I get it because I've been there. At one point, I had 7 half-finished online courses, 3 abandoned YouTube channels, and a folder called Business Ideas with 42 documents in it. I kept thinking the next interest would be the one that finally stuck. But here's what changed everything for me, and it's probably not what you expect. The problem isn't that you have too many interests. The problem is, you're trying to treat all of them equally. You're giving your curiosity about pottery the same weight as the skill that could actually pay your rent. That's like trying to drive 5 cars at the same time and wondering why you're not getting anywhere. See, the world rewards depth, not breadth. At least initially. You can explore widely later, but first you need leverage. You need something that makes you valuable enough that people will pay you for it. Think about it this way. Right now, you're standing in front of a massive buffet with 100 dishes. You're trying to taste everything simultaneously. You put a little pasta on your fork, some sushi, maybe a piece of steak, all at once. What happens? You can't actually taste any of it properly. The flavors blur together into nothing. That's your brain on too many simultaneous pursuits. Now imagine instead you picked one dish. Just one. You sat down with it. You actually tasted it, understood its flavors, appreciated what made it good. Then, after you'd fully experienced it, you moved to the next dish with that same level of attention. Same buffet, same options, completely different experience. Your interests aren't the enemy. Trying to pursue all of them with equal intensity right now, that's what's destroying you. Most people with multiple interests make one fatal mistake. They think every curiosity needs to become a career. Every hobby needs to generate income. Every skill needs to define their identity. So when they can't commit to one thing completely, they feel like failures. But what if I told you there's a way to honor all your interests without splitting yourself into pieces? A way to actually build something real while keeping space for everything else you care about. There's a framework that changed my life. It's stupidly simple, but it requires you to be honest with yourself about something uncomfortable. Not all your interests are created equal, and pretending they are is keeping you stuck. Some interests are meant to make you money, others are meant to keep you sane, and some are just meant to exist on the shelf until you have the space to explore them properly. The people who figure this out stop feeling scattered. They start building momentum. They actually get good at something instead of being mediocre at everything. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you exactly how to organize your interests in a way that creates progress instead of chaos. You'll learn which interest deserves your focus right now, how to keep the others alive without letting them sabotage you, and why the guilt you're feeling is based on a complete misunderstanding of how skill development actually works. Ready? Grab something to write with because you're about to sort through the noise in your head and turn it into something that actually moves your life forward. First, write down every single interest you have. Everything. Don't filter it. Guitar, podcasting, digital marketing, learning Japanese, photography, that business idea, the blog you keep planning. All of it. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Now we're going to put these into 3 categories. And this is where most people resist, because it forces them to be honest about what matters right now versus what can wait. Category 1 is your anchor. This is the one interest that has the clearest path to paying your bills within the next 12 to 18 months. Notice I didn't say your biggest passion or the thing you love most. I said the thing that can realistically generate income soon. Maybe you're already decent at writing. Maybe you understand social media better than most people. Maybe you're good with video editing or you've got sales experience. Pick the one that checks these boxes. You don't hate doing it. There's actual market demand for it. You have some foundation to build on, even if it's small. That becomes your primary focus. Not forever. Just for now. Category 2 is your soul work. These are the things you do purely because they make you feel alive. Reading philosophy, painting, hiking, cooking elaborate meals, playing music badly in your bedroom. Here's the key. You're not monetizing these. These aren't side hustles waiting to happen. These are the activities that keep you from burning out on your anchor interest. They're recovery. They're joy. They're allowed to just be hobbies. I know the internet has convinced you that every passion needs to become profitable, but that's actually how you kill the things you love. Let some interests exist without pressure. Category 3 is everything else. Your curiosity shelf. All those random things you want to explore someday, but not right now. Learning astronomy, getting into woodworking, studying ancient history. Whatever didn't make the first 2 categories. These aren't abandoned. They're deferred. They'll still be there when you have more bandwidth. You're not saying never. You're saying not yet. Now here's where the framework actually works. For the next 6 months minimum, your anchor interest gets 80% of your productive energy. When you sit down to build your future, that's where your focus goes. Let's say you've got 2 hours a day for meaningful work. Give 90 minutes to your anchor. Take courses, build projects, create portfolio pieces, network with people in that field. Treat it like it matters, because it does. This is what buys you freedom later. Your soul work? Schedule it like appointments. Sunday morning for reading, Wednesday evening for painting, Friday night for cooking. These aren't negotiable, but they're also not eating up time that should go toward building something sustainable. And your curiosity shelf? It sits there quietly. No guilt, no pressure, just patience. What happens when you do this is remarkable. You stop feeling scattered because you're not trying to pursue everything simultaneously anymore. You actually start getting good at your anchor skill because you're giving it consistent attention. That builds confidence, proves you're not just a distracted mess. You're someone who can focus and deliver. Within a year, maybe less, you've built real capability in one area. You're making money. You've got options. And now you can reassess. Maybe you pull something off the curiosity shelf into focus. Maybe you blend 2 interests in a way that creates something new. The point is, you're building in sequence, not in chaos. You're being strategic about what gets your attention when, instead of letting every shiny interest fragment your progress into nothing. Your interests aren't going anywhere, but your time is limited, and so is this window to build something real. Look, I need to be straight with you about something. A year from now, you're either going to be someone who actually built something, or you're going to be having this exact same conversation with yourself. Still scattered, still starting things you don't finish, still wondering why everyone else seems to have it figured out. The framework I just gave you works, but only if you stop waiting for permission to commit. Stop waiting until you're completely sure. Stop waiting for the perfect moment when one interest finally feels like the one. Pick your anchor, schedule your soul work, let everything else rest on the shelf, then actually do it. Not perfectly. Not forever, just for the next 6 months. Because here's what I've learned after years of jumping between interests. The people who seem to do everything successfully, they didn't start that way. They built one thing first, got good at it, made it work, then expanded from a position of strength, not desperation. Your interests will wait. Your potential won't. So choose what gets your focus right now and give it everything you've got.